Hello everybody, hands up if you one day dream of owning a Ferrari, Aston Martin or some other prestige performance car which costs over £100,000. Yes, I certainly one day dream of owning some cars that fall into those categories, but I can't afford it at the moment. However, handily, this car that I'm driving right now, a 2007 Jaguar XK, is so good and represents such good value for money here, certainly in the UK at the moment, that I'm gonna make 3 cases as to why this is a better bang for buck purchase than some of those cars which cost 10, maybe even 20 times as much. Come on, let's get into it. My name's Ben. Welcome to Dad Cars. You all right, sweetie? Are you comfy in the back there? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a fun video. I can remember many years ago, back in my early 20s, when I had a Honda S2000. A dear old friend of mine at the time, he had a Lamborghini Murcielago. And I can remember him saying to me sincerely at the time, he said, Ben, honestly, enjoy having that S2000 right now, which is worth about as much as a new wing on my car, because even if one day you do get to own a supercar, the enjoyment that you feel from that S2000 is exactly the same as the enjoyment I feel from this Lamborghini. And at the time when he said that, I didn't really believe him. I thought he was just being really kind to me because I owned a car which was worth at the time about £5,000 compared to his £150,000 car. But with me now, driving cars one day which are over £100,000, then a few days later driving something which is sub £10,000, I now understand what my wise old friend was talking about. So let's kick things off with number 1 of 3, driving experience. And the car that I'm going to be comparing this to, that I've driven on the channel, is the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. At the time of recording, used prices on those Superleggeras are £130,000, which I know it's crazy, it's a lot of money, but I think that's exceptional value for money. I mean, that's about half what the launch Superleggeras were new. And in actual fact, of all the post V8 platform Aston Martins, it's the Superleggera that I would have, even over the new DB12. I don't care how nice the interior is on a DB12, it's not worth another 80 plus £1,000 in my opinion. But okay, let's talk about one of the weak points on this car that I'm driving. The interior is definitely showing its age. The infotainment system is terrible. Now I think this is running on Windows 95, or that's certainly how slow it is to respond. But if you really want to poke and prod and find fault on the interior in here, you can. But the same could be said about the Superleggera. You know, that was the big complaint with the DB11, the current generation Vantage, and the Superleggera, is that the interior didn't live up to the high price tags that were on those cars. I'm moaning about the over 15-year-old infotainment system in here, but car journalists were moaning about the infotainment system in those Aston Martins when they were new because they came with an outdated version of the Mercedes system. Something I loved about the Superleggera is that there is definitely a limit on how far you can push it with a front-engined rear-wheel drive car. And the Superleggera walks straight up to that line and then takes a huge step right over it. It's absolutely bonkers. But in fairness to this naturally aspirated 4.2 litre V8 XK, it's still very easy to spin the rear wheels if you want to and have some fun in this thing. But the core experience for you as the driver sat here in your Continent Crusher, special looking, lovely coupe. Look, honestly, if it's £130,000 for a second-hand Superleggera and you can get one of these for around about £7,000, this isn't an 18th of the experience. And talking of gorgeous coupe design, let's move on to number 2. And this is the looks. And an example that I want to use of this is I've been very fortunate to drive various modern, high-performance 4-door saloons. The F90 M5 competition, the M3 competition, the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. This, I appreciate, is very opinion-based. This is my opinion and perhaps be the most controversial, but for me, this Ian Callum designed, gorgeous coupe is better looking than a four-door saloon. As a young man, I was always a Mark IV Supra guy over the equivalent Skyline. And I just think it's crazy that these cars new were around £60,000 back in the noughties, and even not adjusting for inflation, it means that they're getting on for a tenth of their original purchase price. But just look at how special and stunning this car is. And I know it's not as practical as a saloon, but that just makes it all the more of an event to look at. When you're filling up at the petrol station, you turn around and you see your Jag. Before I give you the third and final reason on why I think these are just such exceptional value and why I think this is a smarter purchase than a Gran Turismo, before you head over to the classifieds to see if you can nab yourself a bargain XK, this car I'm driving right now, at least for one person, is going to be the cheapest XK in the country. That's because I've teamed up with cashraffle.com, meaning one of you can win this car for buying a 99p raffle ticket. This is a guaranteed draw, meaning no matter how many tickets are sold, even if it's, you know, half of the available tickets are sold, somebody is going to win this car on the 22nd of February at 9 p.m. So if you fancy being in with a chance of winning this actual car, click the link in the description below, get your tickets, and good luck. Now, the third and final point, reason why I think a car like this makes a lot more sense than a more expensive, more desirable car, is running costs. So the example I'm going to use here is a favourite of the Dad Cars channel. I've crowned it the pound for pound best dad car you can buy, the Maserati Gran Turismo. And as much as I love this car, it can't actually take the crown from the Gran Turismo because of the rear seats, or lack thereof space, because the Gran Turismo's got 4 proper seats. Obviously this is the Dad Cars channel. And I think it's fair to say that Jaguar don't exactly have the best reputation in terms of reliability and maintenance costs. But I don't think there's anyone out there who's going to disagree that, generally speaking, Maseratis are going to cost you more than a Jag like this. The fuel economy that I've been experiencing with this 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8 is low 20s around town, but high 20s on a run, sort of averaging a little over 25 miles per gallon, I would say. And they will sound like Toyota Prius fuel economy numbers to any Maserati owner. And I can vouch for that. I am a Maserati owner, and in my Grand Sport, I get around 15 miles per gallon. And from speaking to many friends of mine who are Maserati owners, I would advise to people, if you're going to buy a Gran Turismo, you should set aside £3,000 to £4,000 a year and expect to spend that on servicing and maintenance. Hopefully it'll be less, but if you set that aside, you won't go too wrong. And I just cannot see a Jaguar XK like this, servicing and maintenance, costing you, even half as much as that. If anybody has got experience of long-term XK, XKR ownership, please hop into the comments below. Let us know, on average, how much in servicing, maintenance, paying for stuff that's gone wrong, how much have you spent out? As subscribers of this channel will know, I dream of one day owning a Ferrari FF. I will own a Maserati Gran Turismo at some point when I can afford to do it. I'd love to have an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quattrofoglio. But at the moment I'm trading down to free up the cash to continue funding this channel, and this car, hand on heart, has blown me away. It's made me actually really excited to see what other cars I can find as I'm going down, sub 15 grand, sub 10 grand, sub 5 grand. If these early XKs were worth £15,000, I would still say, look, this is a great experience for 15 grand, but they're not 15 grand. These are half that at the moment. Honestly, such exceptional value. And while it may not get my heart racing like a Ferrari, or make the hair on the back of my neck stand on end like a Gran Turismo, or feel quite as special here on the inside than an Aston Martin, for the sum of its parts, bang for buck, honestly, the Jaguar XK is incredible. And it's definitely got me considering a Jag as the next car in my trading down series, but I'll need one with a bit more rear space. Ooh, an XJ Super Sport. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let us know in the comments below. Give us a like. And if you don't subscribe to the channel and you're still watching now, come on, you've got to subscribe. Check out one of our other videos, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
I love you, Dad.
Oh, I love you more, sweetie. You're very lovely to your daddy, aren't you?
Yeah.